will now be on the record in Vickery 2025 CR 11, State of Kansas versus Gavin Lane Vickery. The state appears by and through County Attorney Jill Gillette. Attorney William McClendon appears for the defendant Gavin Lane Vickery, who also appears in person and pro se. Mr. Vickery, can you hear me?
Yes, Your Honor.
How does your client wish to proceed on preliminary hearing, Mr. McClendon?
Your Honor, we'll be waiving pursuant to a plea deal.
Very well. Mr. Vickery, as you've heard throughout the afternoon, I have to go over some matters with you before I determine if you know what you're waiving and the consequences. You are charged with the felony in count 2 of aggravated battery, recklessly causing great bodily harm or disfigurement. A person charged with the felony has a right, as you've heard throughout the afternoon, to a preliminary hearing. At that preliminary hearing, the state of Kansas has the burden of producing evidence to make it appear that the felony crime has been committed and to show probable cause that you committed that crime. Preliminary hearing, however, is not a trial to determine whether you're guilty or not guilty. It is a hearing to determine if there is enough evidence to require you to stand trial, or in other words, to be bound over for trial. At a preliminary hearing, you have the right to be present with your attorney. You would have the opportunity to challenge the state's evidence, to challenge the existence of probable cause for further detention, or for requiring bail.
By the way, I have no idea what's going on. Big shout out to Law Nerds Unite, or as I like to call him, Zach, who sent this to me. I'm sure it's good. I'm watching it for the first time, and I got a little something from Alyssa as well.
You would have the right to subpoena witnesses, cross-examine the state's witnesses, and present evidence on your own behalf. A preliminary hearing would also apprise you about the nature of the crimes charged and the sort of evidence you'd be required to meet if you were to stand trial. However, if you waive or give up your right to preliminary hearing, there will be no preliminary hearing, and you will be bound over to the district judge for further proceedings. You will be required to appear at a later date before the district judge for arraignment, at which time you will enter your plea to the felony charge as well as the misdemeanor charges against you. Until that time, you will continue to be obligated to appear under the terms of the bond. Have you talked to your attorney about waiving your right to preliminary hearing?
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you need any more time to visit with your attorney before we proceed?
No, I do not.
Do you want to waive your right to preliminary hearing?
Yes, Your Honor.
Are you voluntarily waiving this right?
Yes.
Has anyone made threats or promises to cause you to waive this right?
No, Your Honor.
Are you in good health today?
Yes, I am.
Zombie
Are you
Mac
taking
Miller
any
in court.
medication which might impair your judgment today?
No.
Mr. McClendon, do you know of any reason why the court should not accept the defendant's waiver?
No, Your Honor.
Ms. Gillette, does the
There's no
state
doubt
wish to
about it,
waive
Andrew.
its right to preliminary hearing?
The state does, Your Honor.
Very well, the court finds the state of Kansas has waived its right to a preliminary hearing. The court further finds that the defendant has made a knowing waiver of his right to a preliminary hearing after consultation with counsel. Therefore, it is the order of the court that the defendant is bound over to the district judge for further proceedings. The defendant shall next appear
Passion fruit,
before the
McNasty.
for
Passion fruit.
arraignment. Mr. McClendon?
Your Honor, this is a misdemeanor. Your Honor, this is a misdemeanor plea. Could we
right.
possibly?
So I will show that you waived your prelim, and then Ms. Gillette, there is some kind of offer to a misdemeanor.
Yes, Your Honor. If you want to keep it on one of your dockets, we could put it for one of the March plea dates.
Is there a reason we couldn't go ahead and do it, take up the plea now?
Jill, do you want his BIP assessment before or after he does this?
It doesn't matter to me. Judge, he's gonna get a BIP assessment. We just wanted to have it available for the court and us at
All right,
sentence.
I typically order those as part of any probation. I think we can go ahead and take it up if you're all comfortable doing that.
I'm fine with it.
That's fine with me, Judge. I'm sure my client would be fine with getting this go.
All right, the terms of the agreement?
Your Honor, he's gonna plea to count 1 and 3. I will be dismissing count 2 on behalf of the state. Part of the recommendations are going to be that he get a BIP assessment and follow through with any and all recommendations of his assessment, and continued no contact with the victim, no third party contact.
Now, that might be a reason to set it over. Do you need to get any kind of notice to the victim that we're doing this?
I haven't heard back from her. Her victim impact statement went out February 4th. And so she hasn't written back yet. It's been 24 days. It takes.
Is she Grace Vickery that's on the screen?
Yeah, it's me.
All right. So, Miss Vickery, you've been following along with what's happening today?
Yes, my phone just died. I had to get on another phone, but I called yesterday to see if we could get the no contact order dropped because we have 2 kids together and it's been rough on me having the kids by myself, and I just needed, like,
Oh,
Gavin is a
sweet
great
Jesus,
dad, and
here
I
we
was just
go.
seeing if we could get that dropped so we could be able to parent and communicate about our kids so he could see them and everything.
Okay, well, we will address that perhaps
Now I see why Zach did this to me.
Exciting and new.
later in the hearing, but at this time, do you want to be heard on the issue of the plea agreement? Do you want to talk to Ms. Gillette about it before we proceed?
I didn't even hear anything. I just
Okay,
got back on it.
she has told me that she will dismiss the felony in count 2 aggravated battery. He has said he would enter a plea to count 1 domestic battery and count 3 criminal damage to property. Do you have any objection to that plea agreement or want to discuss what that means with Ms. Gillette?
Well, the destruction of property, I told the police that was his
Okay,
phone.
back up. Listen to my question.
Okay, yes, I
Do you
do.
object to the plea agreement or do you need to talk to Ms.
Yes.
Gillette?
Yeah, I object to it, yes.
All right, you want him to plead to the felony?
No. Just, okay, yeah, that's fine. It's just, it was his
Ms.
phone.
Gillette,
that he broke.
do you want to talk to her at all?
If you want to put us in a breakout room, I'll talk with her.
All right. And if it's better to put it over so you can have more time, that's fine too. Missy, would you please put Miss Vickery and Miss Gillette in the breakout room?
Your Honor, can you put me in a breakout room with Mr. McClendon, please?
Yes, and like I said, if you need more time, don't feel rushed. Missy, could you please put William McClendon and Miss Gillette in a breakout room?
Judge, can I get a quick breakout with my client?
Oh
That'd be
boy.
fine. Missy, if you would, please.
Is everyone back?
Yeah, it'll be just a second. Missy, is the document I just printed coming out all right?
Yes, I can bring it up.
Okay, thank you.
Of course.
All right, we are back on the record in 2025 CR 11, State of Kansas versus Gavin Lane Vickery. All parties as before. We were joined by Grace Vickery, victim in the case alleged. Ms. Gillette, are there any announcements? Thank you, Missy.
Yes, the agreement's going to be to count 1 and the state will be dismissing 2 and 3. The rest of the recommendations will remain the same.
All right, so Mr. Vickery, how do you plead to the sole count remaining of Domestic battery,
Guilty.
just a moment. Is anyone making you enter this plea of guilty today by any kind of threats or promises other than the plea bargain or plea agreement that we've been hearing about?
No, Your Honor.
Do you understand that even though you've gotten this benefit of the plea agreement, you still have a right to trial on that remaining count, and that if you continue with your plea, you're giving up your right to trial,
Yes.
and that you'll most likely be found guilty and you will not get this back,
Yes, Your Honor.
or you'll not be able to appeal the conviction?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. And in your own words, what did you do that makes you guilty of domestic battery?
I hit Grace.
And what's your relationship to Grace?
We're married.
When you were married at the time and you hit her, did you hit her in an angry manner?
Yeah.
I mean, it's a fair
And this was
question.
January 30th of 2025?
Yes, Your Honor.
And where in Greenwood County, Kansas did it happen?
Fall River.
All right, I accept your plea.
You know, he's just burning inside thinking, what he wants to say to the judge is she had it coming, but but he has enough sense not to.
He is freely and voluntarily given with the factual basis finding you guilty of count 1, domestic battery. I dismiss the remaining counts as part of your plea agreement by motion of state. And if you go over the recommendations again, Ms. Gillette.
Your Honor, it is a Class B person misdemeanor. We'll be recommending a 6-month underlying sentence. He's going to probably need at least 6 to 9 months to complete the BIP. So we'll be recommending 12 months of probation. When he completes BIP, then we would, if there's been no other issues, we would consider an early release if the probation officer requests it. All contact with Mrs. Vickery would be for the exchange of the children, and all contact would be to exchange children, child issues, anything that has to do with the kids.
Any fines?
I'm not asking for a fine because he'll have to be paying for the BIP courses, Your Honor.
Anything further, Mr. McClendon?
No, Your Honor.
Regular court costs, booking fee, probation fee.
Why are you gonna assess a bids fee, Judge?
How much do you have on attorney fees at this point, as this did say felony?
I don't know, Judge. It's probably gonna be around $300 to $350. If I had to guess, could be less.
Where do you work, Mr. Vickery?
Nowhere at the moment.
Why?
I've been applying. I just had an interview last week, and I just got an email while we were on court about another interview.
How old are you?
22.
22, and you have 3 children?
2.
2 children? How old are they?
6 and 5 months. Well, it'd be 6. Yeah, 5 months.
Oh, sweet Jesus.
She does not.
So who's supporting the children?
We get food stamps.
So the taxpayers of Kansas are supporting your children while neither of you work?
Yeah, I've been looking for a job.
When
It's
was the
just
last
hard.
time you worked?
December.
What'd you do up till then?
I've just been looking. There's not many options around Fall
Please.
River.
You have a driver's license?
I do.
Is it valid? Do
Yes, Your Honor.
you have a vehicle?
I do.
Is it legal?
Yes.
Tags, insurance?
Yes,
Do you have a high school diploma?
I do.
Do you have any work history?
Yeah, I do.
What is it?
I just worked at Textron Aviation. I worked at.
You work
I
at,
have
you
a
had
laundry
worked
list of
at
places.
Textron?
Yeah,
Well, that was a pretty good job, wasn't it?
yeah.
Why'd you lose that job?
They were asking me to move to the west side, and it was just a little bit of a too
What's
much of a
wrong
drive
with
for me.
that?
That's almost 2 hours away from me.
But if you moved to the west side, it wouldn't have been, right?
Well, I have a house here in Fall River.
You own it?
Yeah,
How much is it worth?
probably 120,000.
You have a house, $120,000. Is it paid for and clear?
Yeah,
But you've got a court-appointed attorney?
yeah,
So you've got the state taxpayers paying for your attorney, paying for your children, and you live in a paid for 120,000.
Ouch. I mean, in fairness, $120,000 house in this day and age is probably a dump, but yeah.
$1,000 home in Fall River, Kansas,
yes, Your Honor.
and you don't work. You
No,
gave
Your
up-
Honor.
You gave up a good job at Textron because you didn't want to relocate to the west side of Wichita.
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you see anything troubling about all of this?
A little bit, yeah.
Did you inherit the house? Is that how you got the house?
Not exactly. I mean, it was my parents' house, and I owned a house in El Dorado, and I had sold that house. Well, sold it and gave them the money, and they pretty much gave me this house.
How does a 20-year-old have houses paid for in full if he only works from time to time?
Well, I've had jobs since I was
And he sold burritos too.
16 or 17.
Okay, so a 16-year-old, 16 to 22-year-old has had enough jobs that he can buy a house, pay for it in full,
Yeah, it was only 30,000.
and now it's up to 120,000. You made a good investment.
Well, the El Dorado house was $30,000, and then I paid that off and sold it for 95.
And bought your parents 120,000.
Yeah, yeah. They built it, so I mean, if it was appraised, it probably appraised for around 120, but they put in probably 60,000 for it.
Are they still living?
Yes.
They just. There's something really wrong in your picture, sir, that you can just afford to give up a good job at Textron because you didn't want to relocate to Wichita. Do your children live with you?
They do not at the moment. They did before this incident.
Before you were charged with aggravated battery and
I'm with you. This doesn't add up. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's all just a lie itself, just a lie per se, or if that's the case. Yeah, you know, at that age, still flipping house, possible, but it's not likely. It could be drugs.
domestic battery of their mother.
Yes, Your Honor.
So you can't find a job in Fall River, but you won't relocate to Wichita.
I was working in Wichita, but it was like very east, so it was about an hour. But they wanted to move me west, which would have been about an extra hour of a drive.
Unless you moved there. Okay, we're not getting anywhere with this. I don't know, you seem to be one very fortunate individual. You got rid of a felony and a misdemeanor for one misdemeanor. You've got you're 22, you don't have a job and have it for a while. And because you want to live in Fall River where there are no opportunities, but yet you own in full a $120,000 house, and you've got the state of Kansas paying for your attorney and your children. I don't know. My life sure didn't work that way when I was your age, but that's a different story for a different time. So here's what I'm going to order. Domestic battery is a B misdemeanor. The most I can order is 6 months, and I will do that. I'm not gonna, the statute reads that I am to give you a mandatory minimum 48 hours in jail and a $200 or $250 fine, unless you do the certified domestic violence offender evaluation, also called the batters, the BIP, as Ms. Gillette was calling it, Batters Intervention Program Assessment. How much time have you served in jail from this case, for arrest or anything?
I think it was 6 days. I went in on the 30th and then got out on the 4th.
We lowered his bond on the 4th to 10,000 cash surety with no contact and no third party contact.
I don't know if all your fortune will run out at some point. You'll quit getting these benefits in life that a lot of people don't get, but from now on, you better do what you're told with at least the court. And what I'm telling you is you're going to get a 6-month sentence. You will get the 12 months the 12 months reporting probation that your attorneys agreed upon. And you are to call your probation officer immediately after this hearing. Are you ready to write down their number?
Yes, ma'am.
316-322-4153.
Okay.
You will be required to comply with all standard conditions of probation, which they will go over with you. You are within 14 days to contact someone who does a has to be certified domestic violence offenders assessment. And then if it recommends treatment or anything, you have to get started on that as right away. I don't want you dragging your feet on it. But you better have the appointment scheduled within 14 days. Provide proof to your probation officer. Sign any releases that your probation office needs to talk with the people doing your evaluation and treatment if needed. You are to have no contact with Grace Vickery except to exchange the children or converse about the children. Don't be playing games. Oh, we're going to go talk about the children for 2 minutes and then spend the rest of the time on a date for 2 hours. No contact, because until you get that evaluation and I have some idea of how dangerous you are, then it's going to be limited. Now, have you seen the kids at all while you've been on probation
On bond?
or on bond?
One time, yes.
One time.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to change my order. You're going to have no contact with Miss Vickery or the children until you have completed the evaluation and complied with it. Like I said, we need to know this went from an aggravated battery whereby great bodily harm or disfigurement or death could have occurred. But if your evaluation thinks you're safe with your wife and children, then you follow that.
So if the evaluation says that I can be with my wife, then you're allowing it?
I'm going to allow the recommendations of the evaluation to control subject to the probation officer.
Okay.
The probation officer has to feel safe with it too. And if I
Because, Judge, I need to put her back in line for all this stuff that I'm dealing with right now.
have to revisit that, we can have another hearing at a future date. Now, you are going to have to pay $100 to the Domestic Violence Offenders Fund, $350 towards your attorney fees, $100 towards the bids application fee, because this did start as a felony, $158 in court costs, $45 in booking fees, and $60 in supervision fee. And you're going to be ordered right now to start getting a job. You may just have to move somewhere where a job is available.
I think I should have one within a week.
In Fall River,
One's in Parsons and another one is in the east side of Wichita. They seem pretty promising, so.
all right, well, you make sure that you get a job as soon as possible and you keep a job.
Yes, Your Honor.
And I'll give you the same as what I customarily do. As far as payments, you can pay 1/12 of the total due each month. Your first 1/12 will be due in 30 days. That's March 28th. And then you'll have a 12th due on the 28th of each month thereafter. Is there anything else that I need to address that I haven't, counsel?
Are you going to allow him to be released after 6 months, Judge, if he complies?
No, I'm not guaranteeing that. I'll listen to a motion on it, but I'm not gonna say, you do this, this, and this, and you're off of there. No, I'm not doing that. But if you have earned it, if you show me that you are safe to your family, to the community, to yourself, that you can maintain employment and support yourself and your children, then we'll talk about it. Anything else?
What about the third party no contacts? My grandma is on one of them and I help her a lot. I go up, she lives like right down the street, and she lives with her and her handicapped brother, and I just help her a lot around the house, and I haven't been able to because we have a no contact order.
Which one of the witnesses is she?
Bonnie Jones or Brenda Jones.
I have a
One of the
Brenda
two.
Jones.
Yes, Your Honor.
Ms. Gillette, what do you have to say about that?
Which I believe it's his grandmother. He had her car when he left the house. So when he was driving or left, he was in her car. Her car's been, I think, returned to her. So I don't have any problem with him having contact with his
It
grandmother.
wasn't any threat physically or emotionally?
No.
Mentally? Okay.
It was solely driving her vehicle.
All right. She has to, if she is okay with that, she'll need to come forward and let your probation officer know that.
Okay, thank you, Your Honor.
Who's Grace Terrell?
That's Grace Vickery.
Oh, she goes by that too. And Amy Vickery?
That's my sister-in-law.
Was she in any danger during this, Miss Gillette? Amy Vickery or Megan Noland?
No, that's where the victim went, and she was given clothing and a ride or loaned a car to town to come to the sheriff's office. So Amy's house is where she went after the incident.
Do we need to maintain no contact with those witnesses?
I don't believe so. She's married to Mr. Vickery's brother, from what I understand.
All right, well, don't you be any threat to any of them, or it could jeopardize your probation.
I will not.
All right, I'm gonna let you go. Call your probation officer if there's nothing further then.
All right, thank you, Your Honor.
You're welcome. We'll be in recess.
Well, that was something. Your X to B.
If you want to prepare an order to that effect, you head over to the 5th floor Legal Assistance Center they can help you out doing that and how to get that in front of me. And we'll hopefully get this done for you, okay?
Okay, thank you.
Bet. Take care. You're all set.
Yeah.
Have a good weekend.
Number 16, case number 2302947, DP Lane versus Banks. Q&A. Yeah.
Hello? Yes.
Thanks. Good morning.
Yes. How you doing?
I'm fine. How are you?
I don't know my phone.
Good. Good morning to you too.
And Aurora, is that Aurora
Oh yeah, she's a soulless ginger for sure.
Lane joins us?
I turned my book
Hi.
off.
There you go. Can you hear me? Where are we walking to, Miss Lane?
I get off your Wi-Fi.
There you go. Can you hear me?
Our Wi-Fi just messed my phone up. Can you hear us, Miss Lane? Hold on one second. I can hear you now.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, find a place to land, will you? You good?
Yeah.
Okay, because if you keep moving, you're going to cut the camera out. Okay? And I don't want that to happen. So, this is Mr. Banks's motion. He classifies it as a motion for custody. Did you get a copy of that, Ms. Lane?
Yes, actually, we had another issue with that because I guess he's supposed to serve me a paper, but instead of him just knocking on the door, Miss Banks entered my home, he legally trespassed, and he said he has a video that I have messages from him and his mother coming to my home and giving me my paper.
Okay. Did you get the? My only question was, did you get a copy of the motion?
Yeah, but I didn't willingly. I didn't know nothing about this. He just came in the house and gave me that paper, walked in my home. I didn't know. Is that how I'm supposed to get it? Like, I don't know.
Well, I mean, how you're supposed to get it is really based on how the parties are behaving with one another. If parties, I've had some people who get along with their former girlfriend, spouse that text it to them. I have some that drop it off. I have some that email it. I mean, it's just.
Okay. You could have just texted. I didn't know. Yeah, that was fine.
I mean, it's just, I'm just, what my goal is in asking that is to make sure that you got a copy of this in.
Oh yeah, I got it and I read it.
Okay, that's what I want to make sure. All right. So, Mr. Banks, anything you want to add to what I've already read before I turn things over to Miss Lane?
Yeah, I just want to say one thing. Anything that she say like about me is not about me. It's about like my kids, custody of my kids. I couldn't staple the paper, but I got papers from both of my kids' doctors. They stating that they never seen the mom, the biological mom. I got papers from Port City Pediatrics that me and my mom, the only person that take my kids to the doctor. My daughter, 2 years old, she was going through early on program, as in she couldn't walk. She finished the program here in Muskegon. Like, and my son, he go to school here Monday through Thursday, been doing it for the last 3 years, and now just like all of a sudden when she get mad, like right now he's 20 days, he hasn't been at school, like, so that's all I got to say.
How old are they?
My son is 5 years old.
So she's a hot mess.
And your other child?
She's 2 years old.
And he says it so calmly, I believe him.
Okay, so I don't know if legally either one needs to be in school, but I appreciate what you're telling me. Well, what's going on, Miss Wayne?
First off, the couldn't walk. He never mentioned my daughter. He never been around. I actually, where he stay now, I actually have messages between me and his current girlfriend that he have a baby with now, saying that they was fine with my son, but she said I left Floyd Banks. We separated when I was pregnant. She has always made it known that she does not want my daughter around. I literally had messages coming out her own mouth saying I do not want that baby around me for the first couple months when that baby born. And who gonna do something about it? She got what she wanted. He's not on the birth certificate. About the couldn't walk, she has said very positive. And anybody that's a medical condition that you find out at birth, he wouldn't know that because he was not allowed to be around his daughter. He also doesn't get her that much because he said he can't leave her at the house where he stays because she hollers and screams when she's left alone with the girl. But my son, me and him always had a great
Oh, my man. Get a DNA test.
relation with our son. Me and him was together for 7 years. Me and him separated. And so he wanted to take my son and spend more time with him. I let him. Also, I have severe anxiety, so I don't drive at all.
Oh, sweet Jesus. How did he ever let this delicate flower go? I don't know.
Anxiety leads to constipation.
I have never learned how to drive, and I'm 24. So as far as the doctor's appointments, yes, he takes him to the doctor. I'm not going to, and he says in Muskegon, yes, I appreciate him for that. I literally cannot drive. My anxiety stopped me from doing a lot in life. So yes, I do appreciate him. They have never seen me because the doctor's in Muskegon. We left the doctor in Muskegon because that's where he stays. And it was more convenient for him to take him there. It was never like, I just didn't participate in my kids' life. Yes, he just only wanted my son. He never wanted nothing to do with my baby. So that's the issue. I have multiple messages like, you have to get her more. You have to do this. Like with my son, we had a great parent relationship. I let him go to school with him. It was great. But my issue is never with him and my son. He can get his son. My issue is with my daughter because you don't get her. You just forgets about her. Even your current spouse don't even like your daughter. And she has told me this in the messages. She has said, I do not want that baby around me. You're not even on her birth certificate. You're not
Katie, you taking Andrew's lines now?
on her birth certificate.
Hey, wait a minute. Hang on. This isn't the Jerry Springer show, people. You don't just pipe up whenever you want. All right? Now, I have a question, Mr. Banks. It looks
I mean, he's right, but the contrast is hilarious.
like there was a judgment of paternity in October 27 of 2023. I'm assuming that was for both of these children. Is that correct?
Yes, sir, and that's correct. And she's been applying with it. She's like, if you can ask the judge when we went to court, the person that talked to us, I'm a good father. I take care of my kids. Like I just told you, my son go to school here, 5 years old. He's been doing it for 3 years. My kids go to the doctor, sir. The doctor never seen their mother. Never. I got every document. I don't even got to talk.
You told me all that. I was just interested in making sure that that you received the proper designation. Because if you are not the legal father or haven't been declared the legal father of one or both of those children, then there's certain things I can't do. But it sounds like that since there was a judgment of paternity in 2023, I'm assuming that took care of both of the children and that you have been established as the legal father.
Yes, I am the legal father.
I cannot.
So, like everybody else, you have all the responsibility and none of the rights. Let's carry on, shall we?
At all resolve this on a Friday morning because everybody's got a lot to say about this case. I know Mr. Lane does. I know Mr. Banks does. And who's ever around you guys right now does as well, because I have heard people on the other end.
Right.
So I know everybody's got their own.
Yeah, because we was thinking this court wasn't going to be on Zoom. That's why we came with all the documents and we wasn't thinking it's going to be on Zoom. It came.
Mine are always on Zoom. Everything I do is on Zoom.
I like him. I really do. I think he's telling the truth, but still, conjugation camp.
So what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to send it for a complete and full investigation, which I'm going to do. The investigation will be custody support parenting time. Their friend of the court is going to meet with both of you, hopefully together, but if that can't happen, they're going to do it separate. And then they're going to have you fill out questionnaires. Then they're going to ask, talk to people who you tell them to talk to, check out doctors, that kind of thing. And then at the end of the day, they're going to make a recommendation to me based on the 12 best interest factors found in Michigan Compound Law 722.23. And once they get the recommendation, they'll send it to both of you. You might not get everything you want in that recommendation, but that would be the last time that you would be able to somewhat control what goes on with your children. Because after that, if a party objects to it, then we have to have a trial. And then it gets complicated and expensive. And then I have to make the decision after hearing testimony and evidence from people. And then I've never had anybody completely happy with everything I've done. So, but I'm going to get this process started now. Well, within the next.
This guy's really, really kind of sweet. He's very humble. This referee. He's trying so hard.
Week or so. Mr. Banks, are you currently working?
No, I'm not right now. I was just working, but like it's so hard because of like child support, or I pay child support and send money. Like I got proof for everything. Like I send money to her physically, or her mom, or child support, or I actually buy the clothing for my kids. Like,
but how is not working gonna?
Because I got a whole family of my own over here. I pay rent of my own over here, and like while I'm paying rent over here, I continue to take care of my kids over there.
Right, but you're not understanding what I'm saying. If you're able to pay rent over there, how are you doing that if you don't have a job?
Sir, I'm barely doing that, sir. I'm barely getting by. My mom is helping me, sir. You could everything.
So mom's doing it. He's like, it's a simple question. What you're suggesting to the court, we haven't gotten to the bottom. What you're suggesting to the court is you have zero income. I don't care how you divide that, it's zero. That's what he just can't figure out.
Out papers for everything, for the child support, everything. Ariella will see. I just was working a year until they was pulling so much money out that I couldn't afford to keep up with my rent and help her out.
Okay. That's all right. Miss Lane, are you currently working?
Yes, I am. And I also want to add, he been on the new child support case was when my daughter was born, the new child support case was established February 2023 to 2023 to now. He has paid $2,000 in child support. That's $55 a month.
But let's not forget
That's how much I get. Also, I have messages, multiple messages of Floyd Banks telling me, why do I have to help? Why do I have to help you with you over there if I buy them stuff when I'm over here? He have told me at that multiple times.
Stop. Okay. This is why we don't have these hearings like this. So you can tell all these things to the friend of the court investigator. So I'm going to, the fees for these are, for this investigation is $300, but I'm going to waive it for both of you. So now you're on my dime. So there should be no excuse of why people can't get this case done. And I want to make sure that you both understand one thing. Number one, the friend of the court is going to be sending you stuff in the mail rather quickly. You got to make sure that the friend of the court at 82 Ionia has all your correct contact information because they don't forward mail. The second thing you have to do is make sure this court has all your current contact information because they don't forward mail. And if you have any doubt whatsoever in your mind, if you're 99% sure you're good, come down anyway. Take a visit down to 180 Ottawa, 82 Ionia, confirm that they have all this stuff, because things are going to be happening rather rapidly from this point on. I'm going to sign the order sending it there today, so you should be hearing from them shortly. But you're all set with me, both of you, and we'll see if we can get it figured out for you. That's all I can tell you.
Well, this is hopeless, but he's really trying. It's cute.
Yeah. We'll give it a shot. You're all set. Thanks. Have a good weekend.
You too. You too.
Exciting and new.
This is Lagrone, no appearance by the plaintiff.
Our $J Group
I
holdings
know nothing.
versus
Let's
Azar
put me to do this.
Segdahi Safel. Okay. So, what was that?
Ready, Your Honor.
Good afternoon, Your Honor.
And where are we on this?
May I pass to the bailiff to hand this to the,
What is it?
this is the petition for joinder before federal court we filed, Your Honor.
The petition for joinder?
Yes. We amended the complaint and we added
This sounds wrong.
R&J holding to our federal complaint in US court.
I don't know what's going on, but it sounds wrong.
No. Have you seen that?
I have not, Your Honor.
Well, you can't just give me things and expect the court to take them without showing opposing counsel.
Okay, I have a copy for him. He refused to accept.
Your Honor, she hasn't tendered it to me. Also, for what it's worth, yesterday at about 11 o'clock in the morning, the defendant served upon my office a ream of pleadings, responses, motions to stay, motions to dismiss.
Oh, bullshit.
So on, and I did my best.
For what case? For this one?
For this case. We're not a part of that federal case, and she is doing the classic attempting to turn this into a federal case, when in fact, it's just a summary proceedings action, Your Honor.
Which is number one, wrong.
Absolutely not, sir.
And I did also give her copies of everything I filed by overnight mail and today. I handed it to her a while ago and she gave it back to me. I'm not gonna.
I don't know what the hell's going on here, but this is some fake attorney, quasi sub sit, some sort of BS.
Fight over it, but they served me with a series of motions. I had to respond.
I don't have Any motion?
Well,
Yes, Your Honor, the package in front of you has a motion to dismiss, has petition for a stay, has answer to the
That's what
complaint.
it is.
and
Okay,
has a
you filed
counter
these
complaint.
today?
And I'm not done with that
Yeah.
motion.
No,
Today.
we filed it yesterday, Your Honor. You only gave us a week to answer. Remember, Your Honor?
Your Honor, you gave her.
Oh, ma'am, I remember everything I do. Do not try to address me that way. I will have a memory that will throw you in circles. So don't come at me like that. Because if you come at me like that, you're gonna get hurt.
I respect.
Counsel, what were you saying?
Your Honor, I was saying that
Back
as I
off,
recall, and I
Bish.
wouldn't challenge your memory, you may as well. When we were appeared and she asked for the opportunity to present some reference to this federal case, you
Yes.
said, we're going to adjourn this till next Friday at 3, and you can deliver to me a copy of that federal case so that I can look at it.
Right.
Not file a whole host of other pleadings and other matters at the last minute. I mean, that was tough for me to handle, but I got it out, Judge.
Well,
A copy of federal pleadings is part of that package that was hand delivered to this gentleman and to the court, Your Honor.
The attorney is handling this well and absolutely biting his tongue and being extremely nice about his true feelings about this. Which is appropriate.
We have nothing to do with that federal case, Your Honor, at this point.
No,
She
you
has a
can-
case against Wells Fargo, who was a prior mortgagee in the case. We have nothing to do with it whatsoever. We're the deed holder of the property.
there's also been a parties added.
Which they counterclaimed against us yesterday at 11 o'clock in the morning and filed several motions. No parties have been added to this case, but she says she wants to add us to that federal case, and I
Well,
want
the caption is changed.
Correct.
You can't just change the caption.
Well, we haven't been served. And if I got the document,
Counsel, I get it. I'm just saying, this caption that I have on your documents is not the caption of this case.
I'm sorry, but I actually do this. Yeah, you can't just change a caption. You got to file a motion if you're adding or taking parties out. That's that's major stuff. And just the disdain that Judge Simpson had for it, appropriately so. It was fun.
I'm sorry.
The caption here, who is Carl Stafford?
Carl Stafford is here. He's my.
I don't care if he's here. He wasn't a party to this case, was he?
no.
It says all residents of the house, and he's the resident of the house.
You can't just change the caption.
What do you suggest I do, Your Honor?
You don't want to hear that. I suggest maybe you get an attorney because I just don't.
She is an attorney, Your Honor.
Perfect response.
Well, that's even more alarming. I don't even know what to do with this because the caption has changed, right?
Yes.
You served motions and apparently there's a counter complaint
Thank you, Alyssa.
that the other side or whoever was supposed to add doesn't have an opportunity to answer. I don't even know if there's been a summons issued for these other parties.
Yes, there has.
Are you an attorney?
I'm not a bar license holder attorney.
that's clear.
I went to law school.
On Mars?
Counsel,
Yes,
you filed
1
an
week
amended
ago.
complaint, correct?
I did, Your Honor.
All right.
We have not received that.
I gave it to her
No, we have not received,
I
sir.
gave you the packet and you gave it back to me.
When was that,
Just
sir?
now, I gave it to
You
your
gave it
husband.
to
You
me
two wanna
now.
have your own darn conversation. You can do it outside. You don't need me here.
I
I'm not gonna be a third wheel on a date in my courtroom.
I'm sorry, Your Honor, very sorry. I did give her all of those pleadings and the amended complaint in a white envelope, which she
Did he-
handed back.
Did he give you an envelope and didn't you give it back?
Yes, because
Why?
because I tried to give him the joinder and he gave it back.
She never handed it
This is like,
anything. to me.
this is like kindergarten. I'm going to accept the first amended complaint, counsel. You can serve it on her in whatever way you wish in terms of either you can do it by email or you can serve it by first class mail. If she won't take it, she won't take it. This, what you filed, which starts out entitled plaintiff's defendant's answer to the counter, you're gonna have to refile this. I'm striking this pleading. You can't just change a caption.
Yeah, it's that simple.
Wow, guess we're done. And so I'll give you a week to get that out. I realize it delays the proceedings, but I don't think I can do anything else. Because I don't know why these parties are running around in this case that you just added to this as the petition to stay is filed on this is crazy. You're gonna have to start over. I'm striking all of that you
Okay.
filed. And you're gonna have to just do it right. I'll take yours, you serve it, they'll have to answer, and then we'll go from there. I don't know that putting it out to next week is gonna do us any good, so I'm gonna put it out to the 14th.
Thank you, Your Honor. I would ask the court if it may. She hasn't paid rent. They haven't paid rent since November. The rent for November, December, and January is $5,000 a month. And the rent for February and March is $5,500 a month.
Absolutely.
I would ask that you ask them to escrow.
What is the current monthly amount of rent?
It's, there's a holdover provision, but we'll accept the normal rent, Your Honor.
About 5,000?
5,000 for.
I'm gonna order escrow.
Escrow, we would pay it in escrow, Your Honor, but not to them, because they have to sell the property to us.
I'm gonna order that you pay escrow to the court in the amount of $5,000. I'm not gonna do a proration back to the original. You'll start that March 1st. It needs to be paid within 7 days of the date of my order, and then needs to be paid each month while this matter is pending. Do you understand that?
Yes, Your Honor.
Please
Thank you, Your
prepare an
Honor.
Order to that effect. I will
So
adjourn this.
February rent and March rent.
I can only have March rent.
March.
I could prorate a day February, but I'm
That's
not.
not necessary. We'll accept the,
March 14th, 2025 at 1 PM. I feel a cold coming. 1 PM.
Your Honor. Have a nice weekend.
Yeah, I will now. All right, now give it. Yeah, give it, because Ann,
Can I take it?
can you what?
Could we submit the joinder or no?
You may, if it is in proper form, submit it anything that you like, but not to me.
Okay,
You can file it with the clerk's office once the file gets up there.
With the
by
joinder.
all means.
Just don't. Just don't. Just
Are we dismissed, Your Honor?
goodbye. Yes.
Thanks, Judge.
All right. We done? Did I miss anything?
Yeah.
It's Friday.
Okay. That's it. You know, it makes me less fearful of any of these cases because it can't be that bad. None of them can get there. What?
I said I'm sitting.
You meaning it could get that bad?
You always tell me I'm trouble.
Oh, no, you know what? And you're right. I do say that to you. And I am going to take that back after what I just experienced.
Thank you.
You're nothing. Court calls the case of Lakestone Apartments versus Nicole Murdoch.
May it please the
Oh, wow. Okay, so here's how this goes. Midstream here, Alyssa sends me this and it says it's good. So I haven't seen any of it. She does mention there might be a fake attorney, but I have no idea what's going on. I've already had a cocktail. And then it was fun. Thank you, Alyssa. But like, this just gives me hives. I want to make joinder. It's just abject bullshit from the start. It's horrible. If you've got a case in state court, the proper thing is you would file a motion to remove it to federal court. If you think federal jurisdiction, we're not joinder. I think in her deluded brain, she thinks that we're going to have a state court, federal court, tag team hybrid or something. That doesn't happen. that doesn't happen. She can't even say the right thing. So in substance, it's horrible. And then she goes and dumps all this crap on the attorney the day before, like no notice. And then she refuses service of actual proper pleadings. And then the changing. I mean, I know this is obvious. I waited till the end because I know you guys don't want to learn anything, but now I just need therapy. Like, that's why I laugh so hard when, like, you can't just change the parties. That's like fundamental. When you do pleading, you can't, you just says, oh, well, at the next appearance, we're going to have other people involved. No. No. They need to be there. They need to be served, or the court doesn't have jurisdiction over them. They need to enter appearances. We need to have, the judge needs to allow for the addition or deletion of parties. It's done all the time. You change the caption that way, but you file a motion. You say, oh, in the discovery process, we found out that that these people are also proper defendants. And here's why. And the judge will look at it and say, okay, that makes sense. So we'll add them, issue summons and get them in. Oh, good Lord. That's like, it's, I mean, like, I'm sure like a layperson can look at her and figure out she doesn't make sense, but it's just so grating that they can, with a straight face, walk into a courtroom and think that they can do stuff like that. Like Judge Simpson isn't going to notice or something. It's insane. It's absolutely insane. I'm going to have to follow that case. It's not going to end well. It is not going to end well. Underdog is going to roll in and put a stop to this thing very quickly. That's how it's going to end. All right. It's late. Thank y'all for coming out. Happy Friday. As usual, I'm not bailing you out. I'm sending you over to Biggin if you're interested.